Hello, my name is Jay Rice, and I will be your host for this celebration of TFF and TF365's 20th anniversary. It will be off an iceberg that will give you a nostalgic feeling. Shall we begin? Rab. Rab has been on the site since basically its inception back in 2004. He has been admin for a lot of its existence, but he did step down once in 2014 because he did not want to babysit anymore, in reference to the immaturity of Brian and CFC Loyal. This turned out to be a decision that will change the site for the long term, as soon Chaz took over and things went to shite. It should be mentioned, Rab was the IT guy in the staff, and nobody else had his skill set. Member of the Month. This is something that makes TF365 unique in that each month people can vote on who the best poster of the month was. Back then, it was members of the site who could vote, but then it did become staff who would choose for a while. This award seems to be a bit dead these days, but that is due largely in part by the lack of users on these days. TFF. TFF, otherwise known as Total Football Forums, was the original website established in 2004, founded by a Chelsea fan. This was back when forums and boards would still be big on the internet. In 2017, the site moved over to another domain after the new owner, Chaz, would run it extremely poorly, forcing people to have enough and trust Rab and Stan as the new runners. Sir Bowen. This is an English-based Spaniard who supports Arsenal. He is famous for being one of the site's best ever posters, but also infamous for having each post being minimum 4 paragraphs long. He's like that seagull meme for whenever he's about to reply to something. The FM Forum. This is a forum that was only put into practice in 2017, with the new TF365 site established after the members decided there was enough content for it. After 6 years, it's clearly run a bit dry with only a few members posting in it, mostly Dan, Brian, and Tommy. CFC Loyal's Marathon. Unfortunately, I do not have a ton of information on what exactly happened here, but it is a historic moment for the website with young Chelsea fan, CFC Loyal claiming he could walk from Nuneaton to London in a day. Type of stuff we'd be used to hearing on the site, but this was one of the most infamous incidents. The Man in Black mod. After the Canadian Chaz took over the site, the Man in Black, user who desperately wanted to become a moderator, instantly tried to manipulate him into begging that he was worthy of moderator. It was well known by this point that he's begged the rest of the admins to be a mod for years and years. With the new owner, he got his wish, which caused a frenzy in the forum, especially within users like ASF, who caught his bullshit quickly. What happened afterwards, I am not sure. What I do know is that Chaz would be overpowered in many decisions, mostly within users he banned out of rage. The Glory Hunters. With top-level football, Glory Hunters are bound to exist. There were many examples over the years, but the most infamous were Swifty and Makarios. The former was an outright troll from the start who we will discuss in a bit. The latter was a quote-unquote French Chelsea fan. It is in quotes because he was an American, to which he even admitted it later on. Both were eventually banned for being massive twats, although Makarios more for the anti-LGBT comments he had made. Tesso dos Bichos, one of the worst members we've had. He was a gangster wannabe jackass who thought he was being cool but really came across as a massive melon. He was a Mexican-American who would cyberbully Brian and have several agendas against teams he didn't like. He was on TFF originally till he got banned in 2013. He tried to come across as a Scottish person until Rab caught him and got banned again. Third time's the charm? He lasted a bit longer on TF365, but he got banned again for threatening Brian to death in front of the staff. Talk about self-destruction. He's probably in jail now, with 50 pence. Pornea threatening Modi. The latter was a member from the north of England and a Newcastle fan who would stop visiting his local pub after a member by the name of Pornea would say he was going to beat the shit out of him and hunt him down. This would never happen, but also Modi would stop going to the pub for weeks out of fear. A classic moment in TF365. AFF. This is Stortz's personal hideout forum, which I'm not sure if it's still up. Brian was one there during his TFF ban, and he was doing okay for a bit, but eventually the people started to dislike him there too. Also, for the people who remember Paul the Yid, he was also one of the owners. What is he up to these days, the old man? DLM's bald head. A running joke on TFF that Deadlinesman is bald. I'm not sure when this meme started, as surely he wasn't bald from the start when he joined in the late 2000s. Lots of memes and jokes have gone around to one of the forum's most long-lasting members. Now a mod today. Jelavic is better than Suarez. This came from an Everton fan known as Hollywood Toffee. He was a taxi driver in Merseyside who would always derail threads and claim every event on the forum was shite. Banned in 2014 by Rab for the reason being, just cause. Anyways, he once said that Suarez was just having a purple patch and that Jelavic was better. Wonder how that aged. Deadlines booby. While Deadlinesman is a properly established member of the forum, he is known for having a feud with a lot of the wind-up merchants and the unpopular. Swifty was one of his biggest enemies, and as hate, he would never call him by his name, but rather Deadlines booby, which is an insult so powerful that it destroyed TFF, and they were forced to move to TF365. Fucking hell. Odemwingie. In 2014, a member signed up by the name of Peter Odemwingie, claiming to be the actual Stoke City player and Nigeria international. Of course, nobody bought that it was actually him, except for a young and naive Brian. Classic. When the ball moves. A peculiar member who would flirt on another girl, who I believe was called Toonlass. They would go on and on, until a few members would jokingly claim they are the same user and under the same IP. Joke that has been common over the years, though I wonder if the staff actually saw that proper. The lad was a Burnley fan who would actually make good football posts, but his own downfall was not knowing that this isn't Tinder or Bumble. Scammer in 2022. There was a user signing up recently who got quickly banned for DMing people to send him thousands of dollars. I don't have a ton of information here, so whoever is watching this, fill in the blanks. Di Maria is a swinger. This came from a Spanish member named El Real, who couldn't speak proper English and would get into a debate about Di Maria with, you guess it, Deadlines booby. El Real would argue that he is a winger, but in one post he made a typo and said swinger. Also, he would claim that he was a Real Madrid season ticket holder, when in truth, he was probably from somewhere far off, most likely an Andalusian. Innocent boy. Every World Cup, the forum would get a wave of clueless members who would not stick around long after it. Innocent boy was a Nigerian user who signed up for the Brazil World Cup in 2014, and after being corrected and told that Nigeria would not defeat France, he would put his black magic on many members, including the Foxes, otherwise known as Dan. He was never booted off the site, but he left on his own after the World Cup. GOAT. This was a Colombian member who was around in 2013 or 2014. He almost always typed in all caps, and would dick suck Cristiano Ronaldo, also claiming he was as jacked as him. This is one of the most mysterious users of TF365, and forgotten, mostly due in part that he was deleted shortly after his ban, so there's no trace of him anywhere on the net. Fitty Pence. He did a lot of illegal things back when he was on the site, so after he had left the site, it has been rumored that he's been locked up, including once he had a suspension related to a police had told the staff take a topic created by Fitty that was supposedly illegal. He actually even had an official police email according to Rab. What is a Fitty Pence these days?